What a wonderful reminder on what we are in store for this weekend as we proudly say welcome to the 2024 NTT Indycar season. And this is the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. It's the first practice of the weekend, the first official session of the new year, and we could not be happier. Yes, the Indycar off-season is officially now over. Let's get to it. Hi, folks. Welcome to a new IndyCar racing year. Lee Diffie along with Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. For this session, Marty Snyder, Kevin Lee, Georgia Henneberry are with us as well. And there's a lot of excitement not only here with us, but also in the entire IndyCar paddock to see these 27 cars on track. There's been a myriad of changes during the 23-24 off-season. And it's going to give us an exciting weekend. And it's a warm day to get us going.
But always a pleasure to come back here to St. Pete. The weather simply perfect today. Nice gentle breeze coming out of the north at 10 miles an hour. And it has been a long off-season, James, but it is the start of real racing season. IndyCar is all about simply who's the best driver and team. Very little else to filter through. It's the best of the best here today.
And it's the first day of school in a lot of ways, guys, and there are some rule changes and some learning that these teams have to do. Practice has been now broken up into a couple different segments. The first 20 minutes, we're calling that the all-skate. Everyone's allowed to go out and run as you wish. After that, it'll be split into two groups, odd and even numbers in your pit boxes. They will alternate 10-minute sessions for the remaining 40 minutes. And this is all in an attempt to try to break up the sessions, not have 27 cars on a 1.8-mile track.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get a clean lap. Drivers complained about it, spoke to IndyCar over the offseason. They came up with this compromise. We're going to give it a whirl here in St. Pete and see how it goes.
Just to give you the official IndyCar wording, deployed on a trial basis here in St. Petersburg, the field will be split into two groups following a 20-minute session, like Hinch said, all cars or all skate. Session to begin practice one. Following that 20-minute all-car session, each group, split by odd and even numbered pit boxes, will receive two 10-minute segments on alternating basis. As in qualifying, the clock in segments 1 and 2 will stop for the first red flag condition in each practice segment. Hey, open mind, let's see how it goes.
Welcome to the 2024 IndyCar season. Kevin, you mentioned new drivers and new teams. How about drivers and new sponsors? Get used to the new colors for Alex Palou, the defending champion this year. He'll be in the DHL colors for most of the season, a handful of races where he will not be in these colors. That used to be, of course, the colors for Romain Grosjean. But Palou told me there's a lot to learn here. He said, honestly, the testing in the offseason, he told me a moment ago, it was really one day at Sebring, 3 sets of tires, that's it. He had tons of time with the new hybrid system, but with the car we're using this year, just a handful of laps, honestly. So he said a lot to learn. And this new system that we just talked about for practice today, he said, I'm fired up for it. You're going to learn a lot in the first 20 minutes, and then those last 10 minutes, you better execute, Georgia Henneberry.
Well, the theme of the weekend certainly is new places and new faces, and that is ever so evident down in my section. From the start-finish line on back, there is a different combination of either new team, new driver, new strategist, new engineer, new driver, all the way through the field. Every single entry from near the start-finish line back. And though they've had testing with these teams already, this is their first opportunity to make their mark on the 2024 NTT IndyCar Series season.
Like you, I'm going to be watching very closely to how this man, Linus Lundqvist, his new teammate, Kiffin Simpson, Marcus Armstrong, and the two champs, Palou and Dixon, do, because it could be a challenge.
You know, he blew us all away, he being Linus Lundqvist on screen. He blew us away last year on the streets of Nashville, Tennessee. In the end, after a late race crash, it didn't work out the way he wanted. But the practice, the qualifying, the race went unbelievable. And it's been said before, and Chip Ganassi, his new team boss, reiterated this morning. He said between Mike Hull and myself, it was watching what this kid did in Nashville that sealed this deal for him.
What a golden opportunity for Linus Lundqvist. Won the then Indy Lights Championship, now Indy Next, and was on the sidelines, just looking for a chance, just looking for a test perhaps with a team. He ends up getting that great opportunity with Meyershank Racing, and then I'll bet he still can't believe his luck. He is a full-time Chip Ganassi driver here at St. Pete with an incredible chance to start the 24 season.
Yeah, it's got to be mentioned that opportunity with Meyershank came, unfortunately, at the cost of Simon Pagenaud, who suffered that injury at Mid-Ohio. He was taken out of the car. Lundqvist put in, and as you said, Lee, just performed so well. What a whirlwind 8 months, 9 months for this young driver. As you say, now teamed up with the defending champions, with the most successful driver in the series. A lot to be learned here for a young guy.
But Lee, I think what was so impressive is for a guy that wanted that opportunity but didn't have any experience to drop in at Nashville of all places and appear to be not only comfortable but absolutely ready for the challenge to take it on. I think that was super impressive. You contrast that to some of the other debuts that we've seen. Tom Blomqvist, highly rated driver, came in where at Toronto, another very difficult track, had a pretty decent showing, but I think Lundqvist is the one that really impressed jumping in the deep end of the pool.
And let's keep going with the rookies, and a lot to learn. Yes, the rotating door that we've become used to at Ed Carpenter Racing will continue again this year. So in the 20 is Christian Rasmussen, the youngster from Copenhagen, Denmark, who has lived in the United States for a long time, and he has climbed each and every step of the road to Indy ladder highly successfully, and this kid is a young superstar.
You might notice an alien-like glow on the back of that Guy Care car. Those are the new for 2024 LED rain lights. I don't think there's a rule that says you can't run them if it's dry. It certainly helps if you're on an outlap, but they are super bright and they really pop. That's a huge improvement. If you've ever raced in the rain or frankly even driven in the rain like most of you have, I'm sure that is a welcome sight in terms of protecting the back end of the race cars when the spray and the potentially fog kicks up, especially with the aero screens.
It looks like he's got the afterburners on, and it's showing on the lap times as well. He's P1 right now. He's outpacing all the other rookies that have set lap times so far. The veterans, I think, are only on their first time lap, so no surprise that they're a little bit further behind. But so far, an impressive start.
Let's walk you through, Hinch, some new changes. Right here, there's some asphalt new asphalt that's been laid down since last year. On our track walk yesterday, James, we went through this section. We saw how smooth it is. That characteristic huge bump hopefully has been eradicated through this section here, which kind of really upset the car's balance heading through a really high-speed right-hander. Then at the end of that straight, when you go into turn 4, one of the many tyre bundles that you see now, all the tyre bundles are wrapped in conveyor belt rubber.
Yeah, big improvement from the safety standpoint. You see there's no longer just open bales. You have these, this wrapped rubber that goes around the front. We've also reduced the number of tire bales and tapered it down. You think back to last year's battle for the lead, Romain Grosjean, Scott McLaughlin both ending up in the tires. I think with how it's scalloped out here now, McLaughlin might have gotten away without hitting the barriers. Still would have gotten a penalty, but at least would have kept the car running. Same thing with the issue with Rinus VeeKay and Kyle Kirkwood down here. So all an attempt from Indycar to make this corner a little bit more raceable, and every bit of tire bundle around the whole racetrack that is facing a driver at any point is covered in that barrier now. And so let's take a look back at what caused this. This was the battle for the lead, Townsend, last pit stop.
Such an exciting moment, and then such a devastating moment for Romain Grosjean. He was on hot tires, McLaughlin on the outlap. McLaughlin tries to hang on to the point on cold tires, goes in deep, loses the back end of his race car. Grosjean hard into those non-conveyor belt tires. They're both stuck, and Grosjean, his first IndyCar win seemingly in hand, and it all went down from there.
Let's take you back just a moment ago. Two-time winner here, Joseph Newgarden, reigning Indy 500 champ. Turn 10. Whoa, that was close.
Is that Rossi? Rapato? I think that's a Ward.
No, I think that's Rossi. That's Rossi. The white. That's the white and papaya of the number 7 there of Alex Rossi. But yeah, the timing line for the lap starts right there, right where Joseph was just about to hit. So you want to get a good run out of turn 10 if you're starting a new lap. Obviously, you've got to at least stay on the gas there if you're finishing a hot lap. Here it is. You see the alternate board there. That's for the alternate start-finish line. So all laps in practice and qualifying will start and end there for timing and scoring. It moves to the front straight for warm-up in the race on Sunday. Yeah, it looks like down in turn 10, I think, heading essentially the last proper corner of the lap there before that chicane where the alt-start finish line is. Kevin Simpson this is what you want to do in practice, right, Jansen? You want to find those limits. You want to lock up a little bit. You saw just that little bit of a left front lock. It's bumpy down there into turn 10. There's a big bump right as you want to have that initial hit on the brakes that can sometimes catch you out.
Yeah, most importantly, you want to preserve the equipment. Push the limits, but not at the expense of banging the immovable concrete.
This is Kyle Kirkwood in the AutoNation Andretti Honda. Two-time winner last year.
The right front lock up there in turn 4.
And again, didn't even try to make the corner, just to your point. Let's not risk anything on the race car right now. Let's just find this runoff, get back.
What a difference that is from Kyle Kirkwood a couple years ago that was really pushing and challenging. Now he's a two-time winner on street circuits at both Long Beach and Nashville. Kevin, this guy knows how to win the big street party events.
As we roll on board here, Verizon on board, Will Power. See the stats on the side here, two-time champion, pole sitting leader.
20th season in open wheel racing and still has the same level of laser focus, determination. Those crazy eyes burn bright and with equal intensity to any of those 20 years prior. Will Power is ready to go again.
Oh! Big save.
Had to catch that one a little bit out of turn 4, all sideways from the mid-corner off.
I would venture to say those Firestones aren't quite ready yet.
He might be, well, everyone's on an outlap. You know, it's your first sort of push getting up to speed after that red flag, but that was a bit gnarly through the flat-out kink here. 9A on the brake. Yeah, you can hear him early on the brakes. He's still getting up to speed.
Nice to hear a gnarly in your off-season vocabulary. Little dose.
There you go.
Small dose of Canadian gnar. Well done.
I just want to be like you when I grow up, T-Bell.
How about this guy? He's had a pair of each of them. Pair of thirds, pair of seconds, pair of wins here on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida.
And he has 9 pole positions. There's nobody that knows how to get around this place over a single lap better than Will Power. All-time pole leader, like we were saying before, but especially here at St. Pete, he is extra special. Marty's walking around pit lane. What do you know, bud?
Yeah, clean laps for his teammate Will Power, but Scott McLaughlin just can't seem to get this practice session in 2024 underway. This is what happened a moment ago when they finally seemed like they were going to get a clean lap, collect some debris out on the racetrack, and Scotty Mack was like, man, we can't even get going today. So Hinch, have you ever had one of those sessions where it seems like you cannot, no matter what, get a clean lap on the racetrack? Finally, Scott McLaughlin, with that debris now gone off the car, can turn some clean laps on the track.
Definitely been there. You saw him reaching his hand out and over the aeroscreen trying to reach it, but this is what worries me about this on-off format with the split groups. You have something small and innocuous like that as you're going to start a run. You lose a whole outlet. It costs you so much time. Now, as a red flag comes out,
there you go.
Scott's never had a chance in this session to
it's
really
the number 30 car over here, Pietro Fittipaldi.
It's down in turn 10 again, like Kiffin Simpson, same spot. But yeah, again, this just upsets the flow, and now the clock the clock is stopped, but I'm not sure why it stopped. There we go, and the clock's running again. So yeah, so this is going to greatly,
do you have that much power, James?
Well, you know. Watch, and stop. No, I guess I don't. I guess I don't.
James was actually windmilling one arm here like an NFL referee. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, yellow flag.
Hey, let's talk more about this guy, Pietro Fittipaldi in the Oakberry Honda. He's going to be here at Rahal Letterman Lanigan all season long. He still keeps his role, by the way, as the reserve driver for Haas Formula One. He's going to do a lot of those at the end of the season, so that doesn't interfere with the NTT IndyCar Series requirements. Announced just a couple of weeks ago, huge sponsor with 5 Hour Energy is going to be his primary sponsor for the Indianapolis 500 and Detroit races. This is the grandson of the great Emerson Fittipaldi. Pietro has been the architect of a really interesting career himself. He's a super talented young driver, and there's not a driver in the field who hasn't done this at St. Pete. Aborts there and has to turn it around, but it's great to have him back in the series.
No, it really is. You know, he had a partial season with Del Coyne Racing. I think it was back in 2018. He's run the Indy 500, but first crack at a full season here. Young driver with a lot of talent. Obviously, you don't get to an F1 reserve seat without that. on your resume. And I think a lot of people are excited to see what kind of performances Pietro can bring. Let's take a look back at Callum Eilert. As we said, subbing for David Malukas. This is down in turn 10 once again. A little bit of a wall slap there, a little bit of a white wall.
This is Agustin Canapino. Check out how close he gets. Is there contact, or is it just a close call? Close call.
Plenty of room.
Never too early for a kiss and a cuddle, Diff. On a Friday street circuit. Santino Ferrucci, nice look at the number 14 AJ Foyt Sexton Properties car. That's down in turn 4.
Whoa, that was close to the wall with the rear wing. Nicely done, Santino, to get that thing flipped around and back on track. But yeah, what an opportunity for Callum Eilert. Found himself out of a ride when the musical chairs shuffle ended and the music stopped at the end of last season. No opportunities, took a role in the World Endurance Championship. He's racing sports cars over in Europe this year, fresh off a podium from the first round, finishing second, and gets the call. Did a test with this team, subbing for David Malukas, got the nod to do St. Pete, and if needed, will be available for thermal should David not be race fit by then.
With less than 1 minute left in this final group, final portion of the opening day of practice. What a day. On such a beautiful day weather-wise here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Just an ideal way to kick off this new racing season for the NTT IndyCar Series.
Canapino's in a good shot here. He's got 29 seconds left, but he'll make the line for one more time lap, I believe, and really nobody in front of him. Clean piece of racetrack, fully rubbered in.
You see Felix going slow there through turn 10, just trying to get a little bit of gap to the car in front.
Let's
so
watch this
lap.
Let's see where this guy's got a half a second on the field right now. That's frankly unprecedented at St. Pete or just about any IndyCar street or road course.
Remember his first race was here several years ago, and he almost podiumed on debut in IndyCar. So this guy likes this place. Let's go for a ride.
Thing is hooked up, James, off the corner. Great power down.
Just going to say, the way he's able to pick up the throttle there to turn 9 very aggressively. One corner left here.
Listen here.
Yeah, he just gets that maintenance really early, but he hit the curve there. Had to think about it because he sounds pretty flat across the chicane there.
It's a 101.0. And if I'm any one of the other 26 drivers, I want to clip that video and go study it all night.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what do we need to do.
We just helped everybody out, everyone else out, by doing a full lap on board.
Good job, everyone. That's P1. Way to start off the year.
With the team that is P1. As you said, the number 60, Felix Rosenquist, by a massive margin, half a second over Pato O'Ward, who just pipped Marcus Armstrong.
That's the thing, his old teammates.
Yeah.
So the former teammates first and second. And then Marcus Armstrong, what a way to start his first full season. Remember, he did the road and street courses last year. There is the young Kiwi. Sato did the ovals last year. Taku will be back for the 500 in the month of May, but it was a really positive start for Marcus Armstrong, Kev.
Yes, it was. Let's talk to him about it. You felt pretty good coming in. One of the reasons, because you got a lot of extra testing time working on the hybrid. Did it translate here on this street track?
Well, to be fair, it feels completely different, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, it does help because you can get your eye in and get used to it. And saying that, you can't replicate a track like St. Pete. So it's pretty cool out there, super slippery to begin with, but man, it's just a lot of fun. And the car started off in a difficult spot. And to be fair, it didn't actually feel that good at the end, but we're still there. So what more can I ask for?
We couldn't ask you these kind of questions last year because everything was new, so now you're back for round 2. And one change this year is they've done some repaving in turn 3. How does that feel this year compared to what it was last year?
Well, everyone was laughing at me last year because I was the rookie. Went out for my first couple of laps. First thing I said was, holy beep. It's like so harsh at turn 3. And everyone was like, yeah, whatever, he's the rookie, you know. But first lap, everyone went through there almost binning it. So this year it's a lot easier, I have to say. So thank you to everyone who repaved that because it's easy flat now.
Thanks, Marcus. Georgia.
Well, he topped the charts in the first official IndyCar session of 2024. Felix Rosenqvist, what a way to start the season, and you did it by a huge margin. So what were your biggest takeaways from that session?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. We had a good run on the blacks to start with. AutoNation Series XM car was just really good out the gates and good confidence, which I've been talking about through preseason testing. So really happy that it's that way and not the opposite. And then on the reds, just took another step. So they weren't hugely, I think the gap between the reds and the blacks are a bit smaller. But yeah, car feels great. And I would say early days, but better than being last. You told me a little earlier today, with this new team at Meyer-Shank Racing, you feel like you're leading the way and you have a little bit more control. Is that what we're seeing here? I mean, as I say, it's still really early, and obviously I've given the team a good idea what I like, and I think that lines up pretty well with what we had anyway. So obviously we had our collab with Andretti as well, which helps a lot, and we have a pretty tight-knit group there. So yeah, I really like it, and hopefully we can keep it going. Felix Rosenqvist tops the charts, practice session number 1, guys.
And look, you can't think about Meyer-Shank Racing without thinking about series champ and Indy 500 winner Simon Pagenaud, still recovering from that huge crash at Mid-Ohio last year. I mentioned Simon not only to say hello and keep that recovery going, but the last time Meyer-Shank was quickest in any session was Pagenaud in Detroit last year. Felix Rosenqvist guides MSR back to the top for the first session of a brand new season over Pato O'Ward, Marcus Armstrong, Will Power, and Rinus VeeKay. What a positive start for the young Dutch driver.
You just have to love the competitiveness of IndyCar, starting off just like last year, finished Chevy-Honda battle, very evenly mixed across the whole field. A couple of these rookies, James, have a little bit of work to do. Kiffin Simpson and Tom Blomqvist. And Colin Brown makes his IndyCar debut, but they will not be happy overnight. Studying video, looking at data, trying to figure out what do I need to find to improve.